Hello, television family. We have gathered around the warmth of our high-definition televisions once again to bring you Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 27th day of September 2023 is Wednesday. I am Dan Kuntz. The rain that was coming down at a pretty good clip overnight has tapered off. In fact, in the Wenatchee Valley, it has all but stopped. Probably not going to see any rain for the rest of the day today. Could be some pockets of it, but I think most of it is pretty much already exiting our area, heading up to the northeast. It's going to be breezy. It's a rather active and robust cold front that brought in the rain. It's only 48 degrees right now. That's cold for this time of the year anyway. So it's going to kick in some breeze. Going to be kind of windy this afternoon, but we will begin the drying out process with the forecast details on the way. And we're going to be well below normal for our temperatures right through the rest of the week. And then we have a nice warming trend with quite a bit of bountiful sunshine by the time we get to the weekend. A lot of news to get to. Wow, busy day in the bullpen yesterday, but we got a bunch of pros who know what they're doing, and we will bring you the news in the not too distant future. About a perfect night for the Mariners as you could hope for. This is it, folks. This is must-win time. The Mariners needed to beat the Astros. We needed the Rangers to lose, and we needed the Blue Jays to lose. All of those things happened last night. But first things first, the Mariners had to beat the Astros to keep their playoff hopes alive. They did that. We'll have highlights of that, plus highlights of the Sunnyside Grizzlies and the Eastmont Wildcat girls volleyball match we carried with you last night as well. And since we're now into fall and have been into autumn for about 5 days now, we thought we'd give Bonnie Orr one more chance to give you what you need to know to get your lawn and garden ready to go to bed for the autumn. All those autumn do's and don'ts from our friend Bonnie Orr. We went up and visited with Bonnie at Omi Gardens last week. We'll show you that in the back half of the program, and we begin with some pretty spectacular footage from our PTZ cameras, because this is the time of the year where sunrise is just before the show starts. Sunrise this morning, 6:54. Sunset tonight, 6:48. 11 hours and 54 minutes of daylight, and that is a really cool view of the Wenatchee Valley from our Heights PTZ camera. Looks like it's zoomed out quite a bit. You can see the clouds are already beginning to thin out. There are still some light raindrops coming down in a few locations, but for the most part, looks like the rain event is done. But boy, it sure feels like autumn out there. Although the tree in my front yard, my oak tree, has not changed. The leaves are exactly the same as they have been for the last 6 months. That hasn't happened yet. I'm sure it's on its way. Let's go see our friends in Leavenworth. Good morning to Leavenworth from our Tumwater camera. And that reminds me, the Tumwater Canyon Highway 2 between Leavenworth and Winton and Coles Corner is closed today. They shut it down at 7 o'clock this morning, just a few minutes ago. It's going to be closed till 3 o'clock this afternoon. They do it every year at this time. It's the pre-winter maintenance work. So if you need to travel on Highway 2, you're going to be detoured onto the Chumpstick Highway. Of course, the Chumpstick Highway is not good for big rigs of any kind. It is discouraged. So anyway, Tumwater Canyon will be closed today until 3 o'clock this afternoon while they get the job done, and they can't have traffic while they're trying to get the job done. Want to remind you of that. I'm going to show you a fantastic view of Rocky Reach Dam from our Omi Garden camera. Look at that. Like I said, this is the time of the year where we get really cool colors and hues, and this is a perfect example of that. All this this weather pattern is all moving up to the north. So up in Chelan, Waterville, you're probably still getting some rain that we had here in the Wenatchee Valley about 45 minutes to an hour ago. It's working its way to the northeast. And so there you go. What a great view that is. And let's pop on up to Manson from the Manson Water Tower. Not enough ambient light for that camera to change from black and white to color. It probably will in just a couple of minutes. Good morning from our camera high atop the Manson Water Tower, looking directly across to the south shore of Lake Chelan. Good stuff. Breezy today. Yeah, behind this round is bringing in, it's a cold front, and behind the rain that is already beginning to exit the area, it's going to bring in some windy conditions for almost all of our viewing area. You can see the direction of the wind because that's the direction of the cold front. So some breezy conditions at times, but also once this round of showers completely exits the area and the cold front moves through, it's also going to give us some sun breaks this afternoon. So we're told maybe late in the afternoon, certainly quite a bit of sunshine by Thursday when it's going to be gone altogether. But look for some windy conditions later on today from the National Weather Service. Here we go. Only 60 for the last 9 days in a row now Our afternoon high temperature has been below normal, and it's going to be below normal through Friday. We're in for a bit of a cold front, and it looks like the rain is all but done, but it is going to be quite windy this afternoon. About 12 to 17 miles an hour, gusts above that at times for the Wenatchee Valley. Chance of rain tonight, only about 20%. The breeze will be decreasing as the evening progresses. We'll dip down to right around 45 degrees. Not much warmer on Thursday, but we're going to see a lot more sun tomorrow with a high of about 62 degrees, very little wind on Thursday. Thursday is going to be that transition day, and then we have a nice stretch of weather. Friday, we're going to get to about 60. The overnight low of 43 is going to take us a long time to warm up on Friday. Of course, the days are getting shorter, and that plays a role as well. A lot of sunshine Friday, but pretty cool. Saturday, we're going to warm up by about 10 degrees. It's going to be a lovely Saturday and a good-looking Sunday, too. And this pattern looks like it's going to continue into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Boy, it sure feels like autumn, doesn't it? It's 6 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, your news. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale, now only at Click It RV. 5 superstore locations. Hurry in today.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Stop by the Culinary Apple and elevate your cooking experience. With high-quality cookware, bakeware, and tools, you'll find just what you need. It's not too early to start thinking about the holidays. Pre-order your Apple gift packs and custom gift boxes now.
Located in the heart of downtown Chelan, Lake Chelan Sports is your best choice for outdoor apparel. Whether you're enjoying the lake or spending time with your family or simply relaxing, we have you covered. Welcome to Lake Chelan Sports.
Starting to dry out, but it is a tad chilly. It's only 48 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. Clouds will be thinning out as the day progresses. Still could see some hit and miss showers. Quite a bit of wind today, but a nice warming trend begins on Friday, just in time for the weekend. It's 9 minutes after the hour. 2 people were hospitalized and 2 cars were totaled following a 5-car chain reaction accident on Highway 28 at East Wenatchee. This happened last night. According to the Washington State Patrol, just before 10 last night, 4 eastbound cars were stopped at the construction zone near milepost 2 when the rear car was struck by a 2000 Chevrolet Silverado pickup being driven by 42-year-old William J. Freeze of Wenatchee. Now, the rear car then struck the car in front of it until all 4 stopped autos were struck, one right after the other. Freeze and the driver of the second car, 46-year-old Miguel A. Valdovinas of Wenatchee, they were transported to Confluence Health with undisclosed injuries. The cause of the accident is under investigation, but authorities say drugs or alcohol were a factor. A similar accident occurred near the same construction zone on Sunday evening. A Monday vehicle crash 13 miles east of Moses Lake started a brush fire, but no life-threatening injuries, thank goodness. Grand County Sheriff's deputies say 48-year-old Simon Simons of Wilbur was traveling north on Road W Northeast about 5 o'clock on Monday afternoon when his Subaru Outback collided with an eastbound semi that was hauling potatoes. Well, the crash happened at the intersection with Road 3 Northeast. The semi jackknifed Simon's car caught fire after the wreck, but both he and his passenger were able to get out of the car. And the semi-driver and the 2 occupants of the Subaru were taken to Samaritan Healthcare in Moses Lake for medical treatment. As you can see, the car fire burned about 1/4 of an acre of nearby brush, but it was quickly extinguished by Grant County Fire District Number 5. Deputies say the semi-truck had the right of way. Chelan County had to muster a rather hasty and heavy tactical response early yesterday morning after a Lake Wenatchee man allegedly threatened his partner with a firearm. The sheriff's office says deputies were called at about 4:13 yesterday morning to a home on Brayburn Road, that's on the south shore of Lake Wenatchee, where a man had allegedly fired a gunshot at his girlfriend's dog and then held a gun to her neck and threatened her. The East Cascade SWAT team was called out, so they brought in vehicles from multiple police agencies in 3 armored cars to the scene. Chief of Patrol Seth Bueller says after authorities surrounded the residence, the suspect surrendered, was arrested under a warrant. Police would not identify the man who was arrested, but jail logs show a 33-year-old man was booked into the Chelan County Regional Justice Center on a pending charge of harassment. A Wenatchee man has pled guilty to sexual assault on a teen victim that was carried out about 3 years ago. 24-year-old Luis Donaldo Acosta was sentenced Monday to just under 3.5 years in prison for charges of first-degree indecent liberties and third-degree rape of a child. Wenatchee police arrested Acosta in March of 2022 after the victim disclosed the assault, which took place when she was 14. Acosta was a trusted friend of the victim's family. His guilty plea allowed him to avoid trial on more serious charges, including second-degree rape. Judge Travis Brandt also sentenced Acosta to 3 years supervision when he's released from prison, and he also has to register as a sex offender. The town of Mansfield is solely responsible for a 1,700-foot stretch of roadway that's become a bone of contention between Mansfield and Douglas County. That's the decision of Judge Brian Huber. He rendered it in a year-old lawsuit in which the county sued to force Mansfield to maintain Airport Way on the southeast edge of Mansfield. Mansfield has long argued that it's the county's property, and so the county has to perform much-needed road repairs on Airport Way. Huber's ruling, issued last week, finds that a mapping error back in 1915 put the road in the county's jurisdiction, and the town is in fact the legal owner of the right-of-way. Mansfield has been awarded a grant, by the way, to rebuild the portion of Airport Way within its boundaries. The Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority board members got together yesterday and made up their mind. The official branding of the Trades District project has been selected, and you see it there. The Trades District is a project of renovating the previous cryptocurrency mining buildings into incubator spaces for businesses, with special focus on supporting local Latino entrepreneurs. The Director of Economic Development and Capital Projects for the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority, Stacy DeMestre, presented 2 color scheme options that were created with Claridge Media. Option 2 was the one that was selected, which features dark blue text with accent colors of yellow, orange, red, and light blue. Students in a new program at Wenatchee High School have earned the attention of national media outlets. This is pretty cool. It's in its first year, 4 students in the podcast and audio storytelling class earned recognition by National Public Radio and the New York Times for their final projects. Senior Sophie Macon, who worked with graduated students Aylin Orozco and Emmy Sutton, and sophomore Kay Devereaux, produced projects that achieved honorable mentions in national competitions for middle and high school students. We had a chance to meet with Macon, Devereaux, and their instructor Brandon Harley, to hear more about their project.
My project was about the green band pods that blew up in 2021. We kind of remembered that we blew up it was like 2 years ago, and we were like, oh, that would be smart to talk about, and how people were so mad and you're abusing these kids, and the whole time we were like, we just wanted to play music together. It was not that serious.
I decided to make mine on my dad. He used to have a fishing boat with his dad out on the coast, and I remember just so many crazy stories he'd be telling me, either about like getting in a wreck with another ship or like a huge storm and almost sinking. And that stuff was just so interesting to me. It's always has been. And I thought, you know, if I took that as a concept for a podcast, I felt like I could make it really immersive, like with a whole bunch of sounds and SFX, so that's why.
Well, when the kids came to me, we always have kind of a strategy session about some ideas, and sometimes kids have good ideas, other ones have a hard time finding out what they want to do. I've known Cade literally his whole life. His dad is somebody that I'm very close with, and I've heard that story many times. So when Cade told me that he was going to use that as the basis for his podcast, I thought that's going to be a home run. There's so many great ways that story could go, and he did a great job of interviewing not only his dad, but his grandfather and his uncle, who all lived that life. So I knew that a couple reasons. That story is just compelling, but it also was made for a podcast story with so many good parts. The other part with Sophie and, you know, the now infamous green tent photograph that stirred up so much. When they told me, hey, what do you think about us doing a story from what it looked like being inside the tent? I was like, that's gonna. I joked with them, I was like, you guys are gonna win this contest. It's gonna be a winner. So when they were awarded an honorable mention for that, I was not surprised. They did such a great job of interviewing all of these people that were so affected, from our front desk secretary to the principal, who received countless calls, and most of them not very nice, from people that day. Those girls did such a great job, right? Nobody asked them once what it was like for them to be inside those tents, and everybody's narrative ran away from that, and they wanted to say, well, here's our story, here's our voice.
I didn't think we made it because I figured Harley would know, and he didn't email me until like maybe a month ago, whenever he was like, oh, I just looked at this thing, congrats. So I sent it to my friends and I said, look, we made it, and we were so excited. We all posted it on our Instagram stories. Everybody was so thrilled for us. It was a funny little moment.
I think he told my mom, because he got the results for the New York Times and was just scrolling through it and found my name. He told my mom, and then I think I was at my friend's house, and my mom just called me, and everybody was super excited and proud.
And if you just joining us at the top of the show, I mentioned this, I'll mention it again. The Tumwater Canyon between Leavenworth and Coles Corner is closed today for pre-winter maintenance work. They do it every year at this time. So if you have plans of traveling through the Tumwater Canyon, you're not going to do it today until 3 o'clock. They'll reopen the highway at about 3 o'clock. You'll have to take Chumstick Highway to go around that. Just a heads up there. And that is the news at 18 minutes after the hour. And once again, we will bring a newscast to you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5, 6, and 10 right here on television. If that doesn't work for you, we have it on the World Wide Web. It'll be in our YouTube page. The news will be on our homepage, ncwlife.com, and it'll be on our Facebook page right around 5 o'clock tonight. If something out there warrants our attention, let us know about it. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. A perfect storm for the Seattle Mariners. Everything that they needed to have happen to keep them in the playoff hunt happened. Highlights with sports is next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
It's Manson HydroFest, September 29th through October 1st on Lake Chelan. Pacific Northwest Power Boat Association racing teams will be duking it out to see who will take home the trophy. 11 classes of inboard hydroplanes, flat bottoms, vintage hydroplanes, tunnel boats, and junior hydros will tear up the waters of Lake Chelan. Admission is free. Manson HydroFest, presented by Wine Girl Wine, Bob File Boats and Motors, 12 Tribes Lake Chelan Casino, and the Manson Chamber of Commerce.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
Sports at 20 minutes after the hour. The Mariners' 4-game losing streak's a done deal. George Kirby looked pretty good, and they knock off Houston 6-2 at T-Mobile Park. Kirby throwing 6 innings of shutout ball. Seattle's offense took advantage of a number of Houston miscues. They got a lead early, and they never gave it up.
Another 3-2. Club to right field. It sends Tucker back on the wall. And he leaps and he makes makes the catch. The Gold Glover reels it in. Ford hustles into third. It's over Bregman, and it's into the crowd. The Mariners get a run. Late night Little League at T-Mobile Park, and the Mariners are in front. It's 1-0. Julio behind. Javier's 0-2. A mile high. Alvarez. There's one out. France tags. He's on his way home. Crawford tiptoes into second base. A sky-scraping sac fly off the bat of Julio, and the Mariners now lead it 2-0. Pena takes off, swing and a miss. Counts, throw on target, on time, and he got another one. Broken back down the right field line, dropping, fair base hit. Rojas pedals home, throw to third. Julio is safe. Ball gets away, and that moves Cal into second, and Julio will score. Another ball disappears. A gift-wrapped run for the second time by the Astros, and the Mariners do open it up. It's 4-0 in the fifth inning. 1-1. Hard hit ground ball past Bregman. Cal Raleigh scores. Teoscar Hernandez keeps the line moving, and he drives in the Mariners' fifth run tonight. Bregman in the air, out to right. Teoscar Hernandez on the track at the wall, and he makes the catch! Crash test dummy Teoscar Hernandez. Julio loves it.
Hits the ball into right field. Should be deep enough to score the run. Teoscar will make the catch. Yiner tags and goes home. They'll make it a 5-1 game. Singleton picks up a sac fly as a pinch hitter.
France the batter. France plugs this out to left center. Rising back. Gone! Ty France! A lightning bolt to make it 6-1. Welcome back, Ty France.
Punched into right field. That's going to be down for a hit. Astros get a run here at 6-2. Altuve with his third hit of the night. And the Astros get one on Andres Munoz. And Alex grounds one towards third. Suarez will run to the bag, step on the bag, and throw in time to get Bregman to end this game. The Mariners, for now, win this game 6-2. See if the Astros challenge.
This play ending the game, they're going to review it. Crew Chief Larry Vanover was on the call.
Yeah, foot's down.
Yep.
The 1-1. Into center. Julio ranging back. Puts the squeeze on.
Cal Raleigh had a couple of hits, as you saw. Ty France went deep for the Mariners. So the two teams will play the rubber match of the three-game set tonight, 6:40 on Roost Sports Northwest. I will be watching. Everything worked out good for Seattle. They got a favor from the Angels last night. LA beat up on Texas 9-2. That shaves the Rangers' lead in the division to 2.5 games over Houston and 3 games in front of the Mariners. And the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 2-0, so that helps in the wild card chase. The Blue Jays' lead over Houston is down to just a game and a half. And if Seattle can knock off the Astros today, they take over the third and final wild card playoff spot. There are 4 games. Wait a minute. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 games left in the regular season. Lots of volleyball last night, including the game that we had right here. Eastmont picked up their first win of the season. They swept Sunnyside 25-19, 25-19, 25-16. Eric had the call here on this very television station.
As Santana has the serve. Could be the point for the match, and it is. Unforced service error, and it goes to Eastmont, 25-19. Set point. Service, Briones, across. Eastmont just flicks it right back at a point. It works out nicely for DeJurgis, and the Wildcats win the second set here, 25-19. Morris with the right hand for the right side. Cross court she'll go. Back line for Eastmont there was Howe. And now the kill. Strong attempt at the line. Sunnyside though with a counter. Back line it goes. There's Staines again. Now the kill. Swipe. Good. Point. DeJurgis. 6-foot sophomore learning as she goes with every ball and every service. Shouldering the pressure is Morse, the freshman, but this time it goes into the net, and that'll be the point and the match. And Eastmont will win its first contest of the season, 25-16.
Talk about what you had to say to the girls after this match.
Way to finally get it done. and that I was proud of them because they worked on, each one of them had a set of 5 goals for themselves, and I could see each one of them working on those things, and that was just huge, and that was the difference. So I picked Mickey because she is one of my senior captains, and day in and day out, she just takes charge and cleans up that back row, so she deserves the recognition. Win or lose, this is the girl for sure.
Okay, Mickey, what do you have to say about hearing that from your coach?
It feels really good. I mean, it's nice getting recognition, especially from back row, because usually passers don't get as much recognition as like the hitters, so it feels nice.
To the Les Schwab Prep Volleyball scoreboard from last night, as you can see, Eastmont sweeping Sunnyside. Davis beats Moses Lake Ephrata over East Valley. Cashmere beat Cascade. Manson took down Okanagan. Tenasket topped Orville. Libertyville brought down Bridgeport. Did any of them go to 5 sets? Oh, yeah, Lake Roosevelt and Brewster apparently went to 5 sets, and Davis and Moses Lake went to 4 sets. All right, Les Schwab girls soccer scoreboard. That is not a typo. Eastmont beat Sunnyside 11-1. Quincy over Chelan. Cashmere got by Cascade. Tenasket topped Libertyville. Manson shuts out Lake Roosevelt. Also, Bridgeport and Brewster were winners as well. And we're right back at it Friday night. From Leibofte Field at the Apple Bowl, the Wenatchee Panthers, Moses Lake Mavericks, Big 9 football. Wenatchee is 2-2. They beat Ike last week 51-6. Moses Lake is 4-0. They beat Central Valley last week 44-28. They are ranked 5th in the RPI poll. Grant Olson and Brandon Harley with the call pregame at 6:30 right here on the NCW Live channel. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday, September 27th. Happy National Chocolate Milk Day today. Any number of stories of chocolate, of course, goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. How chocolate and milk got together is a bit of an urban legend. I'm told that Sir Hans Sloane, a botanist from Ireland, was living and working in Jamaica in the early part of the 18th century, like 1720 or something like that. And the natives there gave him chocolate, which grew all over the place, and water, and he mixed it together. And Hans took a big sip of that and said, yuck. Well, then Hans said, no, wait a minute, what if we put chocolate in the milk? Well, what do we got there? We got chocolate milk. That's the urban legend. The other urban legend is that chocolate milk is not as good for you as regular milk, and that's really a fallacy. Chocolate milk has the same health benefits as regular milk. It's just chocolate. That's all. That does look good, though. That's too chocolatey, though. Give myself diabetes just looking at that. Happy National Chocolate Milk Day. 28 minutes after the hour. A couple of notes in history. 93 years ago today, Bobby Jones did something that no golfer had done before or since. Wins the Grand Slam in a calendar year. The Grand Slam in 1930 was the Open, the British Amateur, the United States Open, and the U.S. Amateur. The PGA tournament existed, the PGA Championship, but that was for professional golfers only. Bobby Jones was an amateur. And, of course, the Masters didn't even exist in 1930. So he won the Grand Slam. Nobody knew what to call it because it had never been done before, so they used the bridge term. If you're a bridge player, you know what a Grand Slam is. And so they decided to call it a Grand Slam. He won all 4 of the most important golf tournaments in a calendar year. 93 years ago today, by winning the U.S. Amateur, which is no longer one of the big 4. Neither is the British Amateur, but he did it 93 years ago today. And happy 25th anniversary, so we're told, to Google. Google retroactively calls September 27th, 1998 as their birthday. Google, of course, is the #1 by far most visited website. Number 2 is YouTube, which is owned by the company that owns Google. Facebook is 3, Twitter is 4. Google is a monster. It's the largest search engine. It's mapping, navigation, mail, you name it. Google, the behemoth, they tell us, is 25 years old today. And we do birthdays. The late, great Sam Ervin, the distinguished senator from North Carolina, became a national celebrity when he chaired the Senate Watergate Committee. In 1973 and 1974, he was the perfect choice. Mike Mansfield was the Senate Majority Leader. He was the one who got to choose who was going to chair the Senate Watergate Committee, and he chose Sam Ervin because he was an expert in the Constitution, and he wasn't going to run for re-election in 1974, and made Sam Ervin a folksy guy. He had no aspirations behind just being the senior senator for North Carolina. He was the perfect chairman for the Senate Watergate Committee. He ended up recording albums, became a celebrity. After Sam Ervin retired, the journalist David Brinkley went down to visit him at his home office, at his ranch in North Carolina, and he was still a practicing attorney, and they were sitting in his office, and he had one of those law libraries that went all the way up to the ceiling with one of those ladders that you had to climb up to get, those ladders on wheels that you had to climb up to get a law book. And David Brinkley asked Sam Ervin, he said, "Sam, what if you take a case that makes you have to go up on that ladder to get a law book?" He says, "I wouldn't take the case." Sam Ervin, born in the state in 1896. Happy 80th to Randy Bachman. Had a chance to meet him once. Pretty nice guy. Of course, the Guess Who. He left the Guess Who. Started Bachman Turner Overdrive. Still making rock and roll at the age of 80. We lost Brooks Robinson yesterday at the age of 86. A lot of people consider him one of the greatest third basemen of all time. But the greatest third baseman of all time, in my opinion, Michael Jack Schmidt in the Hall of Fame. He is 74 years old today, the greatest third baseman to ever play the game. Going to take a break. We have a brand new opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. You've never seen it because we've never aired it. That's coming up. And then one more chance to visit with Bonnie Orr. We're into autumn now. There's some things that you should do and shouldn't do. If you want to get your garden in good shape and your lawn too, Bonnie will join us when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, owner at Springwater Insurance Group. And at Springwater Insurance Group, we are your Medicare nerds because we're continuously studying Medicare rules so our clients are up to date. One of the publications we study is called Choosing a Medigap Policy. And Chapter 3 is my favorite because it discusses how to change your coverage with no health questions asked of you. Because we've learned nobody wants health questions. So give us nerds a call at Springwater Insurance Group for all your Medicare questions. 509-888-2600.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Localtel cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. So you're at work, and it's your break time, and you just need a few minutes to decompress, and you open up Microsoft Solitaire, a game that's been on Windows for who knows how long. And You know, but before you can play a simple solitaire game, some stupid ad comes on for another game you have no interest in playing, or for some drug that you can't take because you're allergic to it, or an ad for a vacation in Texas, which is the last place anybody on earth would want to go. But there's also a link to remove the ads for only $2 a month. You know, my question to Bill Gates is this. Yo, Bill, how much money do you need? How much do you want to soak me for? Yeah, you really want to hit me for an extra $2 a month just so I can play a cheesy game that comes with an operating system that you're already charging me a rental fee for? I mean, come on, enough is enough. Jeez, how much money do some people need? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
At Collins Fashions, personal service is our trademark. Our stylists love to assist our customers with great fashion choices like Tommy Bahama, Karen Kane, Tribal, Nick and Zoe, Habitat, Liverpool, Brighton handbags and jewelry, and many more. Whether you're going on a great vacation, hitting the beach at Lake Chelan, or the mother of the bride and groom, we want you to love what you wear. Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee, your personal shoppers.
Elevate your savings at Boswell's. Right now, buy stressless recliners, sofas, and office chairs and earn up to $1,500 credit toward the purchase of additional stressless furniture. Or receive $400 off the purchase of any stressless signature base or cross-base recliner and ottoman. Don't wait. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Hey there, folks. Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Autumn is here. We say goodbye December 2023. The autumnal equinox has come and gone. And that means, folks, it's time to talk about your autumn gardening tips. And of course, doing that is this person who knows what they're talking about. It's our friend, Bonnie Orr. How are you?
Hi there. How are you today?
Doing good. First things first, we always do this on the equinoxes and the solstices. The summer that was 2023, statistically speaking, slightly warmer than normal, but what's really troubling is bone dry. We are way behind in our precipitation.
We've had less than 4 inches of precipitation so far this year. And you know, all that snow that fell in February, it transmuted, it all evaporated. There was no runoff.
Yeah, I was hoping for, a quick warm spring so it would go into the soil. Didn't happen. Because it took forever for spring to get here. It really did.
It did.
So with those, what we just talked about, slightly warm, not super hot, warmer than normal, but slightly warmer than normal, and very dry conditions, what did that mean for the area gardeners? We'll talk about people, first of all, growing vegetables in their garden. Do they have a good year, a bad year for certain things?
No, well, you know, the thing is that in August, the middle of August, all of a sudden, the nights fell into the 50s and into the low 50s, and that was the same as last year. Well, things shut down when the temperatures are below 60. So it really slowed down garden production.
But you had a good year tomato-wise.
Yeah, and it was a slow start. I think everybody, because we had that little bit of warm in June. And the cucumbers have slowed down, the squash have slowed, everything has slowed down now with the cool nights.
We've been talking about this on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. This is going to be, there are 3 types of El Niños, weak, normal, and strong El Nino. The National Weather Service and the Climate Prediction Center is expecting we have a better than 70% chance of a strong El Nino autumn and a 90% chance of a strong El Nino winter. And what that means is much warmer than normal temperatures and very dry conditions. To give you a reference, the last time we had a strong El Nino year was 2015, the autumn of 2015. That was 8 years ago. We had temperatures in the 80s in October. On Halloween, it was 70 degrees. We broke record high temperatures in October and in November. It was very warm, and they're expecting that again this year.
And almost no snow.
And almost no snow when the winter came.
Right.
So what do we need to be, knowing those statistics, and their batting average is pretty good, Climate Prediction Center, what do we need to know with that?
My first thing would be, let's consider mulching. Because there's not, if you are reliant on irrigation water, there's not going to be any water. And so things are going to dry out. So conserving the water moisture, the ground moisture is very, very important. Grinding up leaves, grinding up grass clippings, mixing them together, spreading them out.
What happens if the leaves don't come off your tree? Because it didn't come off my oak tree until January last year.
Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Let's hope that this year we have leaves, because last year we had no leaves because the adhesion had not completed because it was warm, 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 and then December 2nd, it got cold.
So the leaves will hold the moisture to the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it will not evaporate. Okay, and we'll talk a lot more about mulching in a minute, but that is going to be very important because it's going to be so dry. And you know, in 2015 when it was so dry, it was very hard to get the soil moist again in spring in order to be able to plant a garden.
And we always talk about the importance of putting your garden and your lawn to bed properly this time of the year when we get to autumn, because it makes the transition from winter to spring that much easier.
And so it's been a dry summer. It's going to be a dry fall. So this is the time of year we always recommend planting trees and shrubs, you know, changing your landscape. Well, because there's no heat shock and the things can grow roots, you're going to have a way to water those trees and shrubs because there's not going to be enough soil moisture through October and November and December.
And they turn the ditch off mid-October, roughly, I guess?
About the 10th, I think.
Right.
It depends. There's 2 ditches,
right.
but by you know, yeah.
Basically, that's it. And then, if you need to water them, you're hooking a hose up at the side of your house.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to do that if you get
Well, you do because otherwise the roots will desiccate and it will set the plant back.
What about digging up a plant, moving it to another location, and putting it back down again?
Same thing.
Okay.
And planting bulbs, the same thing. You plant bulbs until the ground is 40 degrees, and that's when the deciduous leaves fall off, is when it's 40 degrees. Believe it or not, the soil temperature is 40. Soil temperature is 40. Anyway, and you plant bulbs until the soil temperature is 40 because roots grow. They aren't going to sprout. They're just going to. And then when the soil is above 40 in the spring, that's when they sprout. Isn't it interesting?
I remember a Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees episode we did a number of years ago when we did exactly that in your garden. We planted them. I remember I thought we were digging to China. Bonnie said, you wait till April, it'll pay off in spades, and it did. And
when it says plant it at 6 inches, they mean 6 inches. Otherwise the soil is too warm and they desiccate and dry out during the summer. So that's no good. And if you can't figure out which way to plant a bulb, plant it sideways. I'm not kidding you, because the plant it has geotropism, it's called, and it will figure itself out.
It'll figure it out.
Yeah.
When you decide, okay, this is the time of the year to plant a new bush or a tree, because as you mentioned before, it'll be easy. It'll take root quicker. You won't have to water the heck out of it, and it won't be stressed by the heat. Do you want to get the largest kind of tree you can get at a nursery, or does that really matter?
You know, this is a really good question. The important thing is, what are the condition of the roots in that pot? If it is really, really root bound, you don't want it, especially if the roots are coming out the bottom or if they're coming over the top, heaped up. The other thing is that now it's recommended that when you plant shrubs and trees, you wash all of the soil off the roots. And then you spread them out, and then your hole is much wider, but that way, okay, you don't have a foreign soil, you just have your native soil.
And the roots will get a head start going.
That's right.
Is that a new thought process?
Yes, probably in the last 15 years.
Okay.
WSU has been talking about it.
Boy, it's so nice to. Boy, they sure know what they're doing, don't they? The master gardeners. We love it.
Well, it's not just the master gardeners; it's those researchers at WSU. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they have Wenatchee as a home base for that. The never do it again list, Bonnie.
Oh, the things that drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the shrub you've been whacking at, that's always in the way. You know, anything that made you unhappy, dig it out, kiss it goodbye, and, you know, get rid of it.
Boy, I wish I hadn't applied to this there 3 years ago, because now it's taking over my porch kind of stuff.
That's right. That's right. And or something that is just faltering because it's in a too shady of a space or too sunny of a space. Just get rid of it and do something else.
Everybody's favorite gardening activity is weeding, of course. We all know that.
Well, it's time to do perennial weeding.
Okay.
Okay, and my favorite is quack grass. That's the grass that has the underground rhizomes, the roots that are sometimes 2 feet long. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
White, and if you break them off, it starts a new plant. so digging perennials, weeds is really, really good because in the spring the ground is too cold, it's too wet. Maybe, but you really want to do massive weeding now. And the other weeding thing is, okay, oxalis, which is a little shamrocky thing with the yellow flowers that everybody is complaining about, that and spotted spurge. Oxalis is a perennial. So digging that out is really important.
Digging it out.
Because otherwise, if you spray it, you're going to kill your lawn too. Mm-hmm. Spotted spurge, there is a pre-emergent for it in the spring. But it's not done at the same time you do the pre-emergent for crabgrass. We'll talk about it in the spring. Okay, there is another time for that. But getting those perennials out is really, really good.
Let's talk about mulching a little bit more in detail.
Okay.
First of all, if you have a big tree and you raked up all your leaves and you put them in a plastic bag and put them out by the curb, just call Bonnie. She'll come get them.
That's right.
Yeah, we know that.
We have a phone tree in which we go, hey, listen, over around, there are bags. Okay, so here's what you do with the leaves. Okay, rather than putting them in plastic bags, except that there is a time to put them in black plastic bags if you want to insulate your compost pile. You know, so if you put them in bags, then circle your compost pile. It will make a refuge for the worms and all of the buggy wuggies and the wee beasties. The wee beasties, right, to keep them from freezing. And your compost pile actually works all winter long. It's just slower. You just have to make sure not to get too much water in it.
If they're really big leaves, like maple leaves, do you need to chew them up a little bit?
Absolutely,
okay.
And oak leaves especially, because oak leaves have a hard surface on them. And so running them over with a lawnmower, okay? You also want to store them next year for your compost pile. And you also want to mix them with grass clippings that take the mower off so you can bag them. Mixing grass clippings and ground up leaves, and then using those for mulching the flower beds or your vegetable garden does two things. One, it keeps water from evaporating, and the second thing is it feeds the worms. And one of the things I'm always in awe of, I'll put down 4 or 5 inches, and in the spring there's not a smidgen left. And it's not because they blew away. They're
eating them.
They eat them, yeah. And they take all that goodness down into the soil.
It's like bellying up to the buffet for these guys.
Exactly, and they're going, oh, yes, yes.
You mentioned grass clippings. It's a general rule of thumb. When you're done for your lawn care for the year, you want it kind of long. You don't want it really long, but you also don't want it super short like a golf putting green, right?
You never want it short.
Right.
Never. Because we live in an area that is too hot. And the recommendation is 3 inches.
And it seems like a lot.
It does, but it's not. I mean, because otherwise your crowns burn out or your crowns freeze out. So a 2-inch lawn keeps it from flopping. And as long as we're talking about lawns, moderate fertilizer. You know, there's these advertisements saying, put down 20-20-20, for your fall feed. The lawn cannot use that, okay? Your lawn also only needs nitrogen, and at 5%. And if you're really, really good, you won't fertilize in the fall at all. It does not give it a kickstart. And you fertilize in the spring and da-da. Otherwise, it sits there and washes into the groundwater.
And you definitely don't want that.
No, we don't want that. So anyway, I'm not sure about, some of the recommendations for gardening have been based on selling product. That's all I'm going to say.
We've talked about either digging out a bush or a tree you don't want anymore. What about those bushes and shrubs that you should just leave alone? You don't want to hack away this time of the year. You want to keep them, but you also don't want to give them a haircut.
Spring blooming.
Okay.
Forsythia, lilacs, viburnum, hydrangea. If you have the hydrangea that blooms on old wood, you do not want to trim any of those. Okay.
Just let them be.
Your last cutting should have been in June.
Okay.
For those things.
You mentioned good year for tomatoes. You have green tomatoes on your list of things to talk about.
You know something really, I mean, there are so many interesting things to do with green tomatoes. And the green tomatoes you want to talk about are the green tomatoes that have a slight blush to them, because that means that the flavonoids have been developed already in that tomato, and it's not going to get any more flavorful. It's just going to get redder under the light. Well, you can save them till Thanksgiving or till Christmas, which I've done most years, but you can also make an apple pie.
Ooh.
But it's really a green tomato pie.
Really?
Oh yes, you just follow the regular recipe for apple, and instead of apple you probably need a little bit more flour to thicken. And you put cinnamon in, nobody knows.
Are they dense enough to make? Because when I think of apple pie, they always say you want to use a pretty dense apple because you're going to be cooking it.
Because they're green.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
And they're delicious, and people will never, if you don't tell them, they'll never know.
What else do we have?
So anyway, saving the green, if the tomatoes are green, throw them away.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not gonna.
They're not gonna. Nothing's gonna happen. What else do we have on our notes? Oh, you know, some people have a higher level of need for tidiness, and some people have a lower level for untidiness. And there's a nice reason for both of those things. But I always think that it's important not to scalp ornamental grasses. The reason you grow ornamental grasses is because the snow and the frost look so beautiful on them. And then you cut them in February, at the end of February, before they start growing again, and ta-da, then they're taken care of.
Just like that.
Just like that. And I always leave zinnias. Right now, I stopped deadheading zinnias and coreopsis and other types of flowers because the birds will eat the seeds. And it's really cool to watch these little tiny birds sitting on top of the flower.
Feathered friends. I know you're a huge fan of them.
Yeah, water is really important.
Water is the most important. They need access fresh water.
Yep.
It will freeze when it gets cold, and that doesn't do them any good.
Well, there's heaters.
Right, that's true. That's true. And they're very reasonably priced, too.
Yeah. And they're fun, I mean, because it does really attract a lot of birds. And then the bird seed that has a lot of, and I've just gone blank on the name, the little hard round ones. I just went blank on them.
That's okay.
Anyway, it has to be a bird seed that's appropriate for this area.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect. But still, there are stores that are selling seed that's not appropriate for this area.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and boy, will they take to it.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, I bought, just on a whim, I think I wasn't even looking for one, but I bought a bird feeder and bird seed and hung it on a low-laying birch thing in my backyard and filled it full of seeds, and within 12 hours it was just swimming with birds. They will find it.
They will, and one of the things is that sunflower hulls that the birds leave on the ground will kill the grass because it's allelopathic. The hulls have something that prevents things from germinating around them.
So you don't want to hang it over your lawn?
You don't want to hang it over your lawn, right, yeah. But you can also, even with the sunflowers well, anyway, that would work. That would work.
And also don't hang it over the top of a plant or a bush or a shrub where cats might hide.
I know it.
Just a heads up on that, because they will also find the birds. Give them a chance.
I know.
Anything else while we have you here?
Oh goodness, we've covered everything we've thought about talking about.
Cool.
Except that we didn't talk about all the things you do with leaves.
Well, let's close out with all the things that you can do with leaves.
Okay, so we talked about using them for mulch.
Mulch, yep.
And insulating your compost pile. But if you put them on your garden plot, okay, the worms are going to be using them all winter long, and it really is important to do. And then in the spring, if there are any left, you dig them into the garden. You do not rototill, because rototilling breaks up the soil structure. You just carefully dig them in, and then you dig a big pile. Tell me your story about making a big pile.
When we grew up, of course, we had huge, ginormous maple trees. They're still there.
every year we rake them all up right around Thanksgiving, and the story is we had a leaf pile that would fill a small gymnasium. It was that much. It was all maple leaves, and we jumped and played, and because that's what you do when you have a big pile of leaves. And my brother lost his car keys in the middle of the leaf pile. We got a metal detector, and we moved the leaf pile from point A to point B and raked as we went to try and find his keys. And at the very end of the pile, on the far left side,
After hours,
we found his keys. If we had started on the far left side, we would have found his keys.
But maybe you don't need to make that big a pile.
That's true.
But whatever.
Hey, I will be happy if the leaves fall off my oak tree in November instead of January like last year.
No, I mean, we have no control.
Yeah.
Mother Nature makes her, and you live with it.
Yeah, that's right. She gets the final decision.
That's right. That's right.
The folks at the Master Gardeners, they so know what they're doing, folks. If you have any questions at all, send them an email with a picture. This is the problem, or I bought this. Where should I plant it? All of these people are the experts. That's why they are the Master Gardeners. I love Marco doing a great job.
Yes.
Doing a really good job.
Yes. And okay, so the Master Gardeners at the Farmers Market through October. The Master Gardeners on Wednesdays from 1 to 4 at 419 Washington Street. And then Chelan Master Gardeners at Gmail. Give us a phone number.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Happy autumn to you.
Happy autumn.
I will see you on December 21st, right around there.
Right. Okay.
Can't wait for it.
Okay. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hey man, how's your arm?
Getting better, actually, thanks.
Did they give you anything for pain after surgery? Because I think I may have some left over.
Nah, that's all right, man. Actually, me and my doctor talked about not sharing prescriptions, and that ibuprofen is a good option for me. The risk of addiction is not worth it.
Makes sense.
Take the next step. Don't share your prescriptions and talk to your friends about the dangers of opioids.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
Welcome to the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center. We are a local nonprofit serving Grant and Adams counties, helping businesses and people resolve difficult issues so they can move toward a better future. We offer help with workplace disputes, residential issues, family matters, and can train your staff in conflict prevention and resolution skills. Call us at 509-237-8401 to learn more.
Friday, September 29th. Check out the Reckless Ones coming up from Los Angeles.
All right, let's put a little bow on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley before we take a look at the weather forecast one more time. If you're just joining us, Highway 2 through the Tumwater Canyon between Leavenworth and Winton, or Coles Corner, if you will, is closed today. They're doing some pre-winter maintenance work on the highway. Can't have traffic on it. So if you had plans to drive through the Tumwater Canyon on Highway 2, you're going to be detoured under the Chumstick Highway today. They're expecting to reopen Highway 2 through the Tumwater Canyon at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The rain is still off and on, hit and miss. It's 48 degrees. It's still pretty cool, but it's going to be quite windy today. This is a cold front, pretty robust cold front, and it's moving at a pretty good clip, which is why we're going to have some pretty good wind later on today. Gusts up to 25 miles an hour in the Wenatchee Valley. Stronger gusts in some locations as this cold front comes through, bringing in the showers and the rain that we had. But it's also eventually going to scour out the skies eventually from the National Weather Service. Not done with the rain yet. Most of the heavy rain is already passed to us. It's raining pretty good right now up in Omak, so that's where the rain is going to. But we're still going to have a drop or two. We'll top off at 60, again with some wind today. 45 for the overnight low tonight. The wind will be diminishing. as the evening hours progress. A little bit of light rain possible Thursday, but the sun will be back out. We'll top off at 62. These temperatures, both the afternoon highs and the overnight lows, are below normal, but lots of sunshine for the upcoming weekend. And that's it for us. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.